Hi there, it's Kim from Crafty Roo Designs, and today we're going to be playing with our teacup monthly make, creating this beautiful little card. Well, it's not little, it's an 8x8, so I'm starting with a matte layer because I changed my mind many times creating this card, as you probably guessed. So I've started off with a trimmed down, I think it was a 7.5 inch square piece of card. I'm just going to use my anti-static bag on the piece of card, but I'm also using it on my tidy tray because I've been given a bit of a tip that it should stop my embossing powder sticking to that too. So I'm taking the beautiful floral and I'm just going to stamp it randomly over the page. Now, to make sure I don't over stamp it, I'm using a tinted ink, but I'm also going to add my embossing powder as I go, so I can see exactly where I have been popping this onto my card. And I have to admit, I don't normally do 8x8 cards, but I had an idea for this, and I wanted to see if it would work. As you can just see, I am cramming as many of those floral stamps as I can into my background. There you go, and it's time to set this now using my heat gun. So I have a piece of card with some white embossing powder on, so you can't really see very much of it. So what I'm going to do is create a little ombre. So I've got my brush hose out and I'm just going to create a lovely watercolour effect ombre background. So I've got yellow, I've got orange, and I've got a pink. I'm starting off with that yellow at the top, moving on to my orange, and then I will finally move on to my pink. And you can see, as always, I'm just building up my colours. So start off pale and then start adding more intense colours, because it's always easier to add colour than it is to take it away. And I love how these flowers are just appearing as you add that colour wash. So I've just tidied up my desk and I'm just going to try this. Again, I need to be really careful that I don't remelt that embossing powder. So now it's time for what's going to go on top of my card, and I'm going to stamp the cup and our lovely floral again. So I'm going to stamp the floral twice and then one of the flower, and then I need to stamp my cup as well. I've done all my flowers, and now I just need to do that teacup. and I'm just going to chop this down so that I can use that piece of white card for something else. So before I start painting these, I want to just dry them off with my heat gun so we don't get any bleeding from that black ink. And there you go, I've got a pile now to paint. So I'm going to start off with my teacup and then slowly work through all my flowers. And I'm using Brusho, so I've got Gamboge leaf green and that gorgeous turquoise to make those flowers really pop out. And you can see just how easy it is to colour these cups in. And now it's time to start on our flowers. And as always, I'm going to start with my foliage first. So I've got my leaf green there, and I'm just going to colour in those lovely leaves. Now it's time to paint those flowers. And I've gone for the turquoise here because I really want them to stand out against that really strong background we've got. And from time to time I do go a little bit heavy with the water, so I'm just using my heat gun to make sure the Brusho doesn't bleed too much from the image. So I'm going to have a quick tidy up. I will dry these with my heat gun and then I'll get cutting them out, leaving a very small border around them. Now I will say I've changed my mind so many times with this card. So as you can see, I have snipped up that background into strips and I'm going to pop it onto the pink mat. It would have worked as a solid image, but I just wanted to add a little bit more, I guess, interest to the back of my card and created strips of colour rather than one solid background image. So I'm going to start by attaching my two outer edges and then I will pop that middle panel in place. And all the time I'm making sure to keep my background in order. So we've got the final piece to go on here. But then I wasn't sure I liked it. Yeah, not loving this at all. So I decided to chop the background piece up again. And now I just need to rearrange them so that they are in order. Definitely not like that. I want to keep those images so it looks like I have chopped up a piece of background, not created 3 individual pieces. And then it's time to get them stuck back on. So again, like before, I started off with my 2 outer pieces and then we'll stick that centre piece in. And there you go, a very interesting background. So it's time to start positioning our pieces. As you can see, it took me a while to decide where I wanted these on my card. But I think I'm stuck with the pink at the bottom and then our teacup. So I'm just going to start layering these up using my foam pads. And I do think this would have worked on a slightly smaller 7-inch card. So I'm just going to use some glossy accents to stick it down and some foam pads. Just have to be a little bit careful with that little bud because it can, when you cut it out, be a little bit delicate. So always make sure you stick that down if you're decoupaging. And this is where it really starts to come to life, doesn't it, when we start to decoupage up those lovely flowers. So I'm just folding and teasing those petals on those flowers. And I'm just going to add a few little glossy accents to the centre. And then we just need a saying, don't we? So I have chosen "You're terrific" for this one, and using some of my scrap card that I cut away from my cup. And as always, just give it a quick dry before you pop it through your guillotine, otherwise you end up with inky pinkies. I'm just going to trim that down, and then I'm going to use some of that gorgeous pink to mat it onto. So now I need to decide where it's going on my card. I think I'm just going to tuck it in behind our little teacup. There you go, and then it just needs attaching, so I'm going to attach it flat onto my card. And there you have it, one terrific card made using our lovely August monthly make. Thank you for joining me today. Do take care, and I will see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.